Hi, welcome back or welcome to the channel. Now, I know some of you guys are wondering what my favorite plugins of 2022 are for Final Cut Pro. Well, there are a few, but I figure I'll give you guys my top three in no particular order. Don't worry. They're not my plugins that I've made. By the way, I've made plugins. There'll be a link in the description below somewhere to the my plugin store, as it were. Most of them are free, so don't worry about that. Feel free to check it out. But anyway, these are my top three, okay? The first one has to be mCamRig. Okay. mCamRig is brilliant. What it does is not only lets you zoom in on a location, as you see, a location which you can pick by dragging about stuff. You can change the size and everything you need. But if that wasn't enough, there is an extra feature I like to use it for sometimes, and it's not necessarily even its zoom. It is a simple feature, which is sometimes I like to use it for thumbnails of sorts, okay? And how I would do that is I'll get rid of the background, of course, and then I would simply change the Y-axis camera rotation, and it lets me create these pretty cool looking effects right here. You can technically recreate them in Photoshop, but I find them so much easier to recreate using this method right here. It's so easy to do. The next one I use is actually one I got recently, and it's so big that I can't go into all the details here, so I will leave a card top right hand corner for you to be able to check it out in a separate video I did. But basically, it is called Pixel Film Studio FCPX Social Mega Pack. And a Mega Pack it is indeed. Now, of course, you'll have to put on, and sometimes, certain aspects can be a little fidgety. But overall, it is great. I'll actually show you guys my favorites that I use from it, okay? There's particularly two favorites, but there's way more you can use. These are just my favorites. Okay, so you may have seen the fancy subscribe button in some of my videos, so let's pull that down here. So yeah, it's a fancy subscribe button, as you see, and you can move it around and stuff as needed. I can change the color as I see fit. I can scale it bigger, smaller. I can even rotate the angle if I so choose. So that's cool. But wait, there's more. I don't know if you guys noticed the thing I did at the beginning with the, comments and whatnot. But yeah, light and dark, I use based on my mood, honestly. Sometimes I'll use the light one, sometimes I'll use the dark one. Really, I just, not only my mood, but also the lighting in the video. It's very important to keep that in mind. And these are the plugins I use the most on that. Like I said, in Pixel Film Studio Social Mega Pack, FCPX Social Mega Pack. Some of them are finicky at times, but that is no problem for me personally. Like I said, I only actually use a handful, but to me, it was worth it entirely. Just for these, if I'm being perfectly honest. Now, last but not least, mTuber 2. Okay, mTuber 2 is brilliant. I'll be honest, I don't even take full advantage of mTuber 2, if I'm being honest. Sometimes I use this because I can fully customize it. I can change the picture there, all that stuff. In the future, I may be using this or this. We'll see what happens. But there are two that you see me use almost all the time. In fact, you saw them at the beginning of the video, and you'll probably see them at the end of the video. That is this. I usually keep it default size, but since this is so small, I'll actually resize this here. And then we have this. This is, I use a lot, okay? What it does is it resizes the clip underneath to drag it in that way for the sub and then everything. What's brilliant about both of these is that you can change stuff. Like I could change the button color from red to white, or any color. Just examples. Or any color you want. And there are other stuff here. That subscribe icon, that the likes, there's all that stuff. I use this sometime. It actually lets you pick the area you want people to focus in on. It helps quite a bit. The magnifying glass here, which does exactly what you think it would do. Magnifies wherever you want. Like I could drag it here so it magnifies this. I can, increase or decrease the amount of zoom it does. And, sharpen, unsharpen, things like that. And it's just brilliant. But yeah, I digress. That was my top 3 plugins for 2022. Okay. Now I may not use like a bunch of plugins, but I've been known to dabble in a few plugins from time to time. So yeah, definitely let me know what your favorites are. And yeah, with that said, I will catch you guys in the future. Later.